All right, hey, shalom, shalom. All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, all glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. All right, double honors to the apostles, elders at Great Millstone. Shalom to you, Akim, pushing the work in truth and in sincerity. All right, of course, all right, bringing the testimony of our Lord Yahweh Shai. That testimony is the spirit of prophecy, prophecy meant to say before. All right. And this lesson is a continuation from a lesson I did last night, which that lesson was cut. All right. And you only got half of, pretty much what I wanted to bring out. So I was actually, I thought I was recording. All right. And I recorded for at least an hour. And I went into some information, but it only allowed me to record half of that. So I figured I'll just come back and, kind of, continue where I left off with the information that I had. Now, I want to touch on this Palantir thing, all right, with Donald Trump. Okay, and I want to show you how that they're going to be able to how they're going to run society. Okay, and what I want to do is, and what I did was, I kind of tricked Chat GPT into spilling the beans in a way. All right, and but before I go there, all right, I want to show you this article. All right, and the origin of this article is from End Time Headlines. But what I want to do is kind of see if I can just type this in here. I'll do it on this computer. Slide, yeah. All right, and I'm not going to be long. I'm gonna try not to be long. I got my precepts that I want to bring out. And then if the spirit is willing, it'll give me more. But I want to draw your attention to Palantir Foundation. Palantir, I don't know if I'm saying it right, or Foundry. Palantir Foundry. All right, and the deal that Donald Trump has made with them, and what they can potentially do, and what they are doing in the very near future. All right. So I'm gonna do this. All right, and this is pretty much is all raw. Right before I press record, I went to Chat GPT and I looked and I asked it this question: paint me a hypothetical scenario. Say Palantir Foundry was ran by psychopathic sociopaths, all right, who are technocrats. What would the world look like if it were to turn for the worse? All right, and look, I just randomly did that because I kind of want to show you, all right, what Esau is doing. All right, so let's do this. All right, Patlin. There we go, Palantir. All right, so let's see if we can find any articles. All right, that's AI Assist. It says Donald Trump is reportedly partnering with Palantir Technologies to create a centralized database that would track personal information of American citizens. Now, all right, this is just an AI overview. All right, okay. It says raising concerns about privacy and potential misuse of data. This initiative aims to streamline data sharing across federal agencies to improve government efficiency and services. All right, and this is fairly new. Okay, this is fairly new. All right, so of course, Palantir defies tech gloom as Trump momentum powers stellar share gains. Okay. Are creeped out. It says even Trump supporters are creeped out by his plans to merge Americans' data. Right. Okay. What is Palantir? All right. The secretive tech company behind Trump's data collection efforts, right? It's a private organization. Okay. It says President Trump, Palantir, possible partnership, what to know. Okay. Is MAGA turning on Trump's buddy Palantir? Okay. So obviously they must have done a deal. Okay. He's done a deal, all right, with Palantir. And I'm going to show you what basically the elite is going to be using to run society. All right. And look, this right here is no joke. All right. And it's a hypothetical question I asked Chat GPT, and it pretty much gonna spill the beans. So strap in, because it's gonna get wild. All right, it's gonna get wild. Okay, data firm is building detailed portraits of Americans on Trump's order report. All I want to know is if he's done a deal with Palantir. That's all I want to know. But all this other information comes up because they're already kind of weary of this partnership. New contracts to drive Palantir stock. All right. Okay. So what did Trump do? Okay. It says Palantir teams up with Fannie Mae and an AI push to sniff out mortgage fraud. All right. Basically, they're gonna go after people. Okay, and this is the elite's a way of employing this new system. Okay, and I'm gonna just kind of give you exactly what it is. All right, I'll give you a hint. Okay, if you can see it on the screen, but I'm gonna save that, and let's kind of get into it now. All right. So here, this is opinion. It's an opinion-based article. All right. And this is from End Times Headlines. Because what you have to do now is you kind of have to, grab 3 or 4 sources, So let's see here. Because they don't want to give me nothing. Okay. So this is the article that when I went into yesterday in the lesson that I have. It says Trump is building an unprecedented spy machine. Okay. With potential to track Americans. All right. And it says, and I'll show you really quick, Slocky, if you can see that. Let's see if you can see it. Yeah, it's really juicy information. So don't know if you can see it. It seems very pixelated from my angle. So again, I'll just read a little bit, and then I'm gonna go into this Chat GPT and what it says about this hypothetical scenario that I asked it. Okay, so I kind of tricked it into giving me the truth. All right, because we only suspect the worst when it comes to Esau and his planning. So let me move myself out of the way. Get my ugly butt the way. So it says recent reports have sparked alarm. All right, here, let me do this. And Salaki, bear with me. Okay. While Jake is playing around, while Jake is trying to make controversy over some, over some words that were said about Putin. All right. And we know those individuals are deterring from the mess that they made, the butchering of the scriptures, and then the topic being the lake of fire. All right. While Negroes are playing around, Esau ain't playing around. Okay. Esau is not playing around, and we're gonna see that. We're gonna see it. While everybody want to do these debates like it's time to debate. This ain't up for debate. All right. Okay. Look what Esau is saying. Tony Blair says Britain should embrace AI doctors and nurses. And that's just extra news. All right. But Esau's talking points is that of, this whole is it has a technocratic technocracy talking points. Okay. And if you don't know what that is, just look it up. Okay. So let's see here. See if I can find it really quick. Look, this is what they're talking about. All right. Dystopian surveillance becomes reality in Texas. In a chilling development that echoes the warnings of privacy advocates, Texas has become a stark example of surveillance technology being used to encroach on personal freedoms and automated license. Okay, I'm not going to go too far. So, let me just find the one that I'm reading now. And that's this one. Trump is building an unprecedented spy machine with the potential to track Americans. All right. Recent reports have sparked alarm over Trump administration's alleged efforts to expand government surveillance capabilities, potentially enabling unprecedented tracking of American citizens. All right. According to MSNBC article, all right, published on May 30th, 2025, titled Trump appears to be building an unprecedented spy machine that could track Americans. The administration is channeling significant resources into projects that could compromise individual privacy. All right. At the heart of these concerns is the administration's partnership with Palantir. All right. A controversial tech company known for its data analytics capabilities. All right. And again, this, all right. Okay. This is Revelations 13 unfolding itself. Okay. All right. So let's go back. All right. It says these contracts involve deploying Palantir's Foundry platform across at least 4 federal agencies, including the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, and the Health and Human Services Department. Foundry is designed to organize and analyze vast data sets, enabling the government to merge information from various agencies to create detailed profiles of individuals. All right. And if you think that's too far-fetched, well, I looked up Foundry. All right. Palantir's Foundry platform. All right. It says is a comprehensive data integration and analytics platform designed to transform how organizations manage, analyze, and operationalize their data. Okay. All right. And keep that in mind. All right. This is how they're going to be using this platform to run their society. All right. That's what the Doge was all about. All right. And Elon Musk, him setting up AI. All right. The scripture say he gave life unto the image of the beast. All right. It says, and the giving life is somewhat giving it power. Okay. And we're going to go into it. All right. It says serving as a central operation system for data-driven decision making. Data-driven decision making. Okay. All right. Because what the scriptures say, basically, it's going to be to the point where if you don't follow these regulations, all right, these systems that they're setting up is going to cut you off. All right, because they're already putting you in a category. All right, and they're talking about efficiency. Are you going to be efficient for this new world order? All right, and what they're bringing. Okay, it says Foundry bridges the gap between raw data and actionable insights across diverse industries. All right. So, core capabilities, I'll just read off the headings. It says data integration and modeling, analytics for all users, ontology framework, operational applications. All right. Data governance and security. All right. And this is important. It says real world applications, healthcare during the C-19 pandemic. Foundry was employed to manage and analyze health data, aiding in scene distribution and resource allocation. And I have not heard of this company until yesterday. Okay, so they were involved in, this thing during this time. Okay, during this time, doing what? Data analytics. Okay, they were using it. Energy companies like Southern California Edison use foundries for wildlife prevention, emergency response, and infrastructure management. Okay, let's get into the important stuff. Okay, so this is what I asked ChatGPT. Paint me a hypothetical scenario. Say Palantir Foundry was ran by psychopathic sociopaths, which we know that's who Esau is, all right, who are technocrats. What would the world look like if it, I guess, were to turn for the worse? All right. And again, it's a hypothetical, all right, scenario. But I use that language so, basically I could trick it into telling us its agenda. Okay. Because we know who we're dealing with. All right. We know the elect know. All right. We know our enemy. Okay. And we don't trust them. All right. And there's reason for that. It says, all right, let's walk through a hypothetical dystopia in which Palantir Foundry, a powerful data integration and decision-making platform, is controlled by a regime of technocratic sociopaths. All right. With no regard for ethics, transparency, or individual rights. All right. And we know that dealing with the higher ups, this is all too, let's see here. What's the word for it? Common. All right. This is all too common when dealing with power and the abuse thereof. All right. It says this is purely speculative fiction designed to explore how unchecked technological power can go awry. All right. And we know by the scriptures what's going to happen. So this is the world under technocratic control, a foundry nightmare. The philosophy, cold rationalism. All right. And we're already seeing that right now. Cold rationalism with the rounding up of, the Northern Kingdom that, they calling them Emma, grants. All right. That's what we're seeing as a cold rationalism already. Okay. Not to mention the cutting of federal funding. All right. Which also what social programs and things that, the needy need, the less fortunate, the poor population. All right. And they keep talking about efficiency. Okay. And also what they're talking about is they're referring to it as wasting funds. All right. Okay. Because they want to allocate those funds to something much more, important to them. Okay. So cold rationalism, the regime believes efficiency and optimization are the highest values. Is this not what they've been saying? All right. Since, Mr. Trump has been in office. Okay. It says emotions, privacy, and individual liberty are seen as bugs in the human system. Democracy is considered too chaotic. Governance is better left to algorithms and superior minds. All right. And this got Revelation 13, all right, 15 written all over it. All right. We're going to kind of hold off. We're going to read a little bit more and then we're going to go into that scripture. Okay. Because it says what? And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. Okay. That the image of the beast should both speak. Oh, I couldn't help it. Okay. So keep that in mind. He had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast. All right. should both speak. Okay, might as well finish it out and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. All right. And when we go into the breakdown, all right, you're gonna basically see well, when we read the rest of this, you're gonna see the breakdown of that. Okay. So it says the total integration, the all-seeing eye. All right. You can't make this up. It says Foundry, it ingests everything, biometrics, okay, and what biometrics has been a big talk. All right. All right, being a thing. It's a big talking point right now. All right. Okay. And they just had what oh yeah, I just did a lesson on this thing. It's called the I forget what it's called, but it's dealing with this world IDs iris scanning. All right. And they're setting this little ball up where you just stand in front of it and it scans your biometrics. All right. So that's going on right now as we speak. Okay. This is not made up. They're actually doing this, you know. See, while Jake is playing around, Esau is making his move. All right. Biometric iris scanning launches in US cities for digital identity. Okay.
It's an invention that could solve a big evolving dilemma, figuring out if you are dealing with a real human or being tricked by AI. I'm the Cyber Guy. Follow me at cyberguy.com. Get my newsletter. It's absolutely free. Now, here's what's going on. A startup called...
And that's another thing. They're saying basically AI could turn bad or turn for the worse. All right. And they keep saying it. All right. But they pretty much, in a sense, own AI. Okay. But that's just another ploy or fear tactic, you know, to jump on the bandwagon, whatever they want to set up to prevent, all right, you know, the worst from happening. So I'll finish it.
Called World. It's co-founded by Sam Altman of OpenAI, has launched a startup called World. It's co-founded absolutely free. Now, here's what's going on. A startup called World, it's co-founded by Sam Altman of OpenAI, has launched a system called World ID. People are now letting a breakthrough technology scan their eyes with a glowing device called the Orb, all for a digital identification. The idea? To prove that you're a real human online, not just another AI bot. You look into the Orb, which scans your iris and instantly creates a unique digital code. No images are stored, just a number that's supposed to represent you. I've always wanted to be just a number in life, right?
See? While Jake is playing around, they're doing it right in front of our faces. All right. So this ain't sci-fi, you know, this ain't no conspiracy thing no more. This is right in our reality. Okay. I'll play a little bit more and I'm gonna go back.
With AI bots flooding social media, dating apps, and gaming platforms, it is getting a lot harder to know who and what's real.
Right. And I just did a lesson on this, that there's been a data hack or data breach, all right, where they're saying Google, Apple, and other platforms have leaked data, passwords, and all that type of stuff. All right. Okay. So it says, let me see. Look, just for anyone to see, massive data breach exposes millions of passwords and logins. Okay, so problem, reaction, solution. Okay, it's the oldest trick in the book. Data breach at Adidas exposes customer contact. That's 11 hours ago. Data breach at Cumberland County Hospital in Kentucky could impact patients, employees. Marriott wins U.S. appeals over. Okay, that's different. Here. Cartier reveals data breach. Why is it spanning throughout all of these different, you know, platforms, all right, and companies. Americans to get, okay, from 5,000 to $20 million from data breach settlement. It's 14 hours ago. Password attack. North Face confirms data breach. You telling me this not an agenda? It's right in front of your fucking face. All right. So they're gonna use this. They have been using this orb thing to verify and actually give you a fucking number. All right. Take your biometrics and give you a fucking number. Okay. Massive data breach. And this is the one I did a few days ago. Alert. It says 184 million passwords leaked. Apple, Google, Instagram, Microsoft logins exposed. Here's what you should know. Okay. Right. In lieu of what they're doing now. Okay. So let's go back. All right.
World says this tech could become the internet's version of TSA PreCheck, letting you prove your humanity across apps and even send money to other verified humans. No government ID required.
See? All right. And this would onboard everybody online. This would put everybody online and give you a digital ID and give you a number. Okay. And everybody will be part of this system. This is where the world is going while everybody's playing games. Okay. And Jake is already falling into this shit already. So.
Well, hold up here. Are we really ready to swap out our most personal data for digital convenience, even with privacy promises? I've seen a lot of identity-related technology in the years I've covered technology, and I find this both fascinating because who's behind this, and a little unsettling with the idea of who gets control over my identity data, even if it's just a number. Would you scan your eyes for a digital ID and some crypto, or does this sound like something you'd rather hold off on?
Yeah, because that was the incentive. They were actually going to give people cryptocurrency if they, allowed this orb to scan them. All right. And we already know this is for a nefarious agenda, which is that Revelations 13:15. Because if you defy this thing and you say to hell with this thing, guess what? Well, they're using these platforms, Palantir, ultimately to run society. All right. And it's going to get very interesting. So because and it's going to cover all the different talking points that have been covered already that Donald Trump has been talking about. We know that one for example, one thing he was mentioning is the Fannie Mae and what is it? What Freddie and Fannie Mae Mac or something like that, the loans, student loans. All right. And he said on the 15th of May, I believe that they were going to actually start what's the word for it? They were going to start wage garnishments. All right. I know I for one know because I have a student loan. All right. And I was kind of forced because I went to college out of state, and they were going to kick me out of my dorm room because I hadn't paid those dues. And so I had to take out a loan. It was like almost predatory, and I had like no choice. I would have been out of the dorm room, and I wouldn't been able to attend my college courses, my classes. Okay. So yeah, man, and I ain't have a ride back home, so, that's, and a lot of Americans are in a situation like that. So let's continue. Salaki. It says total data integration in the all-seeing eye. All right. Foundry ingests everything: biometrics, financial transactions, location data, social media, browser history, right? Health records, even conversations, video, audio, data scraped from smart devices. And they can do that. All right. They can do that remotely. All right. They can take your information off your phone remotely. All right. And even though we got the websites or the apps that said they're encrypted and that it's user to user and no third party. Well, guess what? They just created a law where they can pretty much breach that and get that information. All right. And it could be under the guise of an emergency, the FBI or whatever alphabet agency could, get a court order and get that information, whatever, however they want to do it. It ain't like they ain't done similar things before. It's just real-time simulation models predict behavior at the individual level, like a digital twin for every person. And we know what that is. That's what they have in China, which is punishment and reward system. What do they call it? Social credit system. Okay, where they can punish you based on your behavior, or they can reward you based on your behavior. All right, and guess what? They got cameras set up for surveillance to measure your biometrics. Okay, and you got all that technology going right now. It says every citizen is scored with a dynamic compliance index, deviations from optimal behavior. All right, and you can't tell me this is too far fetched, because they've been talking about. It's been talks about decarbonization and bringing in these the carbon footprint. All right, and that's the talking points among these technocrats. All right, these elite. Example given: not exercising enough. Right, because that's one of the issues they're talking about too. Americans being obese in the most unhealthy country in the world. All right, you want to make America great again? Well, that's what they're doing. All right, but they're doing it with this dystopian technocratic thing that they're pushing. All right, expressing dissent, expressing dissent, missing work. So if you're talking against the establishment, right, it's going to be part of that compliance index. All right, it says missing work, so they're gonna penalize you, reduce your index score. So hypothetically, this is what this thing that they're setting up can do. All right, if quote unquote, if this was a dystopian, or this thing was taken over by sociopathic leaders, it says governance by algorithm. They're doing that right now. All right, and Doge was that's the example, or that's the Slocky. That's the I'll just say example. Okay, it says elected governments are abolished, or ceremonial decision making is outsourced to Foundry's automated policy engine, and they're already doing that through Elon Musk and Doge. Okay, which uses Bayesian models to optimize social utility. Laws are dynamically adjusted day to day, because everything is going to be a rule and almost everything is going to be a crime. All right, and people are going to be blindsided by how they're going to set this thing up. This is tailored per individual, delivered via app. Okay, you see, so it's going to be on your phone. All right, it says ignorance of the law is impossible. Your phone pings you with real-time compliance tasks. See, and if you think it's not coming, it's coming. Watch. Dissenters are mentally remapped via personalized neural feedback regimes designed by Foundry to realign behavior patterns. So they're going to re-educate you. So to be able to maybe take you off the internet. Like I know, with video games, they call it chat banning. They'll ban you from something, and they'll give you a few weeks, maybe even a month. Some people, they'll do it for a year, based on your behavior and your conversation, because they're recording everything. All right, on the video game, because they got what they call cross-play. So you can be, you had a PlayStation 5, you can play somebody on the Xbox, or you can play somebody on the computer, the PC. All right. So those things are already kind of happening. All right. So it says, right, and they can realign your behavior. And Salaki, I'm kind of now I'm taking my time. It says bio optimization mandates. Genetic data is used to assign people into roles. You're told based on your neural and gene profile. Because what is the talk now? All right. It kind of backs this up that this is kind of already in play, or they're kind of hinting to go in this route. One of the talking points is that you African Americans are genetically violent. Okay. That's and scientific racism is a thing that's looming right now, and it's in talks. All right. So they're talking about you, Jakes. All right. They're talking about us. Okay. They're saying we're more naturally violent. And with all the things of, police brutality and police shooting Negroes, you got to weigh all of that type of stuff into balance. Okay. So this is based on your neural and gene profile. All right. You're most effective as a logistics planner. Refusal would reduce societal efficiency. All right. And that's the thing they're going to be pushing. Are you efficient? Have you done your social duties today? All right. And they're going to have apps to ask you that shit. Okay. And to go about life normally, you don't have to answer these prompts, on that app. Lord willing, this is making sense to you. Because again, this is a hypothetical scenario. All right. But when I say hypothetical scenario, we're talking about the future. Okay. This is health interventions like compulsory supplements, neurostimulation are prescribed by Foundry. Compliance is monitored via biometric implants. And it reminds me of that movie with Taye Diggs and what's his name? Is it Christian Bale? All right. I forget the name of it. But in that movie, all right, it was a dystopian society where it was a totalitarian system where, people had to take a dosage of meds every day. All right. And then those meds kept you docile. So it ain't too far fetched, man. We've seen it in the movies. They actually, the brother just had a situation where, and I'm not going to disclose too much, but he's a veteran. And in order to get benefits, he has to, what's the term for it? He has to be evaluated. And then within his evaluation, they're going to make sure he's taking the meds or not. All right. We just got done talking about that literally hours ago. Okay. So no place to hide. Foundry's ontology system has mapped every physical asset, social relationship, and behavioral trend. The moment you act out a pattern, you're flagged. All right. Underground resistance cells try to go off grid, but Foundry's predictive algorithms sniff them out by anomaly. All right. Detection, e.g., example, given a sudden drop in online activity, irregular travel. All right. So they're going to be able to know what people are doing. All right. Okay. Public life and media news is personalized. Your feed is curated to maintain your psychological alignment with state priorities. You may never see a piece of news not tailored to your profile. And they're doing that now. They do that now. That's how they advertise to you. You can say a word. All right. And next thing you know, you look on your phone, they'll be advertising what you just said. All right. So that's happening now, actually. It's a reality drift. And then you're going to be surprised how far into this thing that we're already in. All right. So when it's happening, it's been unfolding around us every step of the way. So it makes me think when when the chip comes, it's going to be so convenient for people to just do it. They're not going to realize where we at with this thing, man. And that's why it's important to pay very close attention to it. All right. It says no one can tell what's real anymore. All right, Salaki, my reality drift protocols ensure everyone sees a slightly different world, tuned for maximum compliance. No one can tell what's real anymore. And if you rebel, there are no prisons, just algorithmic redirection. Your access to food, housing, and communication is throttled until you realign. This is major right here. Some disappear entirely. Quantum reallocation, they call it, where your digital twin is overwritten and you're reintroduced as a new citizen, memory wipe via neurotech. And yeah, that's crazy. All right. So Revelations 13 and 15, let me finish it out. In this dark vision, Palantir Foundry is no longer a platform. It's the operating system for human society. And this is what the image of the beast, all right, is basically, that's what it is, okay? It's an operating system that, what it says here, Revelation 13:15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, all right? That the image of the beast should both speak. Is it not speaking? All right? This platform and this hypothetical situation, quote unquote, all right, is speaking because it's controlling every aspect of society. It gets to set the rules and regulations through algorithm. All right. So you kind of see how it's playing in our reality, right? This precept, Revelation 13:15, and have power to give life unto the image of the beast. All right. That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. All right. And we know what that word killed is. We're going to go into it in a second. All right. Because it's just, well, you know what? Let's go into it now. All right. And the word here.
Strong's G 615. Apartino. Apartino.
It says to kill in any way, whatever, to destroy, to allow to perish. Metaphor, to extinguish, abolish. You see, to inflict mortal death, to deprive of spiritual life and procure eternal misery. All right. And hell, which hell is a condition on earth. All right. So here, more of it. To kill outright, figuratively, to destroy, put to death, kill, slay. But here, to kill in any way, whatever, to allow to perish. All right. Because that's what this thing is. Ultimately, if you don't comply, it's set up to cut you off. All right. All right. And that's what it says right here. If you rebel, there are no prisons, just algorithmic redirection. Your access to food, housing, and communication is throttled until you realign. All right. All right. So yeah, man, this thing is very serious as we see it unfold in our reality. And then the next thing to come is what? The RFID chip. Okay. Because this is definitely going to not only box you in, but it's going to make you a unique citizen. All right. Where no one can steal your identification. Okay. And so that's why it's important to pay attention to this, man. You know, the elders, the spirit put it on the elders to make this thing important. Okay. Because next thing you know, they can implement it at any time they want. Well, they're already setting the frameworks for the beast, the image. All right. So just a little bit more. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. He had power. All right. The word here, didomi.
Strong's G 1325. Didomi. Didomi.
Right. To give something to someone of one's own accord, to give one something to his advantage, to bestow a gift. All right. And this is essentially, this is what they're doing for AI. It says to grant, give to one asking. Let me see. supply, furnish necessary things. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Something to be administered. All right. Okay. And now the AI is the new administration. Okay. Because literally it says here. All right. Let's see here. Where is it at? All right. So governance by algorithm is as elected governments are abolished or ceremonial. Decision making is outsourced to Foundry's automated policy engine, which uses Bayesian, if I'm saying it correctly, it says models to optimize social utility. Laws are dynamically adjusted day to day, tailored per individual, delivered via app. Ignorance of the law is imposed. Your phone pings you with real-time compliance tasks. All right. So they're giving power. All right. They're giving administration something to be administered, to give or commit to something to be religiously observed. You see, and that's what we just read. All right. Oops. Salaki. Here, my bad. Here, let's see here. To give someone, here it says here, to give one to someone to follow him as a leader and master. Okay. To grant or permit, to commission. Click for synonyms. It says to give, to bestow. Right. I mean, so you should get the gist. Right. You should get the gist. So it given power, and he gave, and he had power. All right. Administration. All right. To give life. All right. Unto the image. Not a word here. Life. Here. Let's see. Because I think it's dealing with governance, if I'm not mistaken. So it gave it life. It's giving life unto this image. All right. Okay. So it says the spirit, i.e., the vital principle by which the body is animated. It says the rational spirit, power by which the human being feels, thinks, decides. All right. And then making the AI, and making it what do you call those AI? AGI, so artificial general intelligence, which when you look this up, that's exactly what they're doing. Oops. All right. Then it's another one. The elders came up. Let me see. Brothers in Dallas. Assist me. Right? It says artificial general intelligence is a type of AI that aims to match or exceed human cognitive abilities across a wide range of tasks. All right. There you go. Okay, because what? The image is making it in the likeness of a man. All right. They're giving power onto this AI shit. All right. Okay. To make decisions religiously, as it says, what? This is unlike narrow AI, which is designed for specific tasks. AGI would be capable of generalizing knowledge and solving problems in various domains. You can't tell me this ain't unfolding right now. You can't tell me this is not happening right now as we speak. That's why this is so important. It's so important. It's man, and it's scary how this thing is, how it's unfolding. So it can think like a human. All right. It can make decisions like a human. Okay. Devoid of all or at least all grosser matter, possessed of the power of knowing, desiring, deciding, and acting. They can program it to do all of these things now. A life-giving spirit. So imagine that. Esau creating, this thing in the image, in his image. Okay. It says used of demons or evil spirits who were conceived as inhabiting the bodies of men. Spiritual nature. Okay. All right. So that's pretty much it. All right. I'm not going to go too deep and get too lost. Okay. But as you can see, and again, correct me if I'm wrong. All right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But, all right. Let's see here. 2 Ezra 9:20, it says, so I consider the world. Well, you know what? Let me start with verse 2 Ezra 9:19. For then everyone obeyed, but now the manners of them which are created in this world that is made are corrupted by a perpetual seed. So in other words, it's saying that, right, at one point, men obeyed. They didn't just defy the Most High and blaspheme. All right. But now the manners of them which are created in this world. All right. So the people, the manners and how they're being influenced. All right. These people in this world, it says, are corrupted by a perpetual seed. So people's manners and their ways are being corrupted. All right. It says by a perpetual seed, which is dealing with, all right, a people, a nation. All right. Here, let me just ask. Let's see what they tell me. Well, we know what it is. All right. Okay. It's Esau, Edom. Perpetual seeds typically refer to seeds from plant. Okay. This way, perpetual spin. Okay. These plants can be harvested multiple times throughout the growing season. Well, it's just dealing with lineage. All right. We ain't gotta go too deep on that. All right. So everybody's being corrupted by a perpetual seed, and that perpetual seed is Esau, Edom. All right. Here, let me see if I can do this. It's gonna be 2 Ezra 4, I think. 26. Let me see here. So live here. Here we go. 2 Ezra 4:30. So for the grain of evil seed hath been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning, and how much ungodliness hath it brought forth until this time. All right. Right. Because they're influencing or corrupting the manners of men, the ways of men. Okay. By bringing in these different ideologies. All right. By bringing in the certain way of life, a perspective on life, the standards of life. Esau has corrupted everybody's spirit. All right. Nobody knows the Most High no more. All right. Nobody respects God. And his name is constantly blasphemed. His reputation is constantly blasphemed in the world as we speak now. Okay. It says, and how much shall it yet bring forth until the time of threshing come? All right. And so that perpetual seed is who? The seed of the wicked, these evil men. All right. All right. It says, ponder now by thyself how great fruit of wickedness the grain of evil seed hath brought forth. Okay. All right. And we're witnessing, all right, the evil and wickedness that they brought forth. All right. The whole, a large portion of the world is homosexuals and lesbians. All right. Instead of having sex, they want to, what's the term? Instead of procreate, insemination or something like that. All right. Where they don't traditionally have sex. But these weirdos of jack off and take the seed of men, and they'll what's the term? It's like a baser or something like that. All right, and they'll squeeze the seed into a woman, right? So that's just an example of the wicked shit that's going on. All right, they're destroying ecosystems. All right, creating genetically modified organisms, which scriptures created plants and the herbs to reproduce itself. The seed is within itself. So he corrupted that. The list goes on. Okay, the list goes on. Okay, he corrupted the knowledge of God. Okay, so let's go back. All right, we're gonna finish out. All right, so the world has been corrupted by this perpetual seed. It says in 2 Ezra 9:19, and by a law which is unsearchable, rid themselves. All right, check this out. This is Isaiah 24. Okay, because this is a result of them ridding themselves of that unsearchable law, which is a universal law. Some things are common, right? But Esau is he corrupted that too. Isaiah 24:4, it says, the earth mourneth and fadeth away, the world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. All right. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. All right. So if you're wondering why the world is fucked up, it's because they changed what was common and standardized what was uncommon in the world. All right. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Okay. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. Okay. And so due to the incompetence of these imbeciles, which is, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the world is going to shit, absolutely, completely taken off its course. All right. And, pretty much it's being driven to destruction. You got wars on earth. You got the depletion of all types of ecosystems. And there's a lot of ecosystems, but they're being depleted. We know deforestation or forests. We know ocean and oceanic life. All right. Being depleted. You got plastic in the oceans. They're finding whales beaching themselves, sharks beaching themselves with plastic in their fucking gut. All right. Just completely destroying everything. So with his mentality, all right, and his philosophy, he's destroying the world. Okay. And because they rid themselves of that law, all right, that common law, all right, a universal law. So 2 Ezra 9:20. And what do you think they're going to do, right, when, the future is being weighed in the balance? Because they want to preserve their way of life, right? And the scriptures say that, which is that the house shall continue. House, if I'm not mistaken, continue. Psalms 49:11, it says, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. And imagine if this devil was to continue forever, man, everything would be destroyed, as it says in Matthew 20, the 24th chapter. That's why the Lord has to shorten the time. Okay. He has to shorten their time. So, the Lord is speeding up the time. All right. Revelations 12:12. And that's why this devil is moving the way he's moving. All right. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth, and and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Why? Because the Lord cut the time. All right? He cut it. Right? Psalm 49 and 11 again, it says, the inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. And that's the wicked. Okay? Because ultimately, if he continues, all he's going to do is bring the complete, utter destruction to the world. And no one will have hope of a future. No one, nothing, not a living organism. And that's just how this devil is moving. All right? Because if he can't enjoy it, because he knows what lies in the future for him. And he knows that he's going to be put away for all eternity. Okay? So if they can't enjoy the future with no one else, all right, or with everyone else, and have an inheritance in the future, just like we don't have an inheritance now, they won't have an inheritance in the future world to come. So they're taking that, the God-given right from everybody now. All right. And things are only going to get worse. So 2 Ezra 9:20. So I considered the world, and behold, there were peril. What's peril? We know what it is, but we'll look it up anyway. Okay. All right. It says danger, risk, hazard, jeopardy. All right. Exposure of person or property to injury. Because this is only the only thing that's persistent due to this man's his way of living. Loss or destruction. Okay. So I considered the world, and behold, there was peril. All right. Loss, destruction, injury. Okay. Because of the devices that were coming to it. When you go into this word device. All right. I in Salaki, I did lie. I did say this was going to be short. And it's way beyond short. Devices here, it says intent, desire, and express intent or desire. And we see their express intent and desire. But the Lord is about to cut them short. All right. And rightfully so. And he has to. Okay. He has to. Job 5:12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty. And Esau is the crafty one. All right. So he's going to disappoint their devices, which are their ideals, their plans, their design for a new world order. All right. And what they've arranged. All right. So it says, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. Okay. And in this scripture, all right, is the Illuminati basically in their world being cut. Okay. All right. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. So they're going to fall on their face. Ultimately, they're going to fall down, and they're not going to be able to perform, as it says here, their enterprise. They meet with darkness in the daytime and grope in the noonday as in the night. All right. But he saveth the poor from the sword, because their war is against the poor, as we can see. All right. Because they want to control everything. All right. They want to enslave every soul. Okay. And he wants you to worship him as God. Okay. It says, but he saveth the poor from the sword from their mouth. Okay. Because all of this shit that they're devising is evil. All these talking points are evil. They talk about government efficiency is code for kill off the undesirables. All right. That's all it's saying when they talk about efficiency. That means kill off. All right. In other words, this is from their mouth and from the hand of the mighty, because they got the power to perform their wishes, all right, and their plans in the world. So it says, so the poor hath hope, and iniquity stoppeth her mouth. Now we got hope because our only hope is Yahweh Shemel Shai. All right. And the scripture says his arms are not short that he cannot save. Okay. And this is mighty, mighty to save. All right. And he will, because ultimately he's going to rise up for the occasion of the poor. And that's Psalms 12 really quick. Oops, Salaki. Psalms 12. All right. In 1, it says help. All right. Isaiah, which is the Hebrew word for help. Lord, Yahweh, Isaiah, Yahweh. For the godly man ceaseth, for the faithful fail from among the children of men. Why? Because we're the number one target. And that was this precept, Isaiah 59:15. Yea, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. And the Lord Yahweh saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment. You see? Oops. All right. So anyone that speaks truth, what? You become a target. You become prey. Okay? Because of the truth. All right. Psalms 12:2, it says, they speak vanity, every one with his neighbor, with flattering lips, and with a double heart do they speak. All right. And that's this whole, the government efficiency, all of that shit. And any other talking points that they have, it's double speak. They're not talking, they're not telling the truth. They're lying through their teeth. Right? They speak vanity, everyone with his neighbor, with flattering lips, and with a double heart do they speak. So they're lying. The Lord Yahweh shall cut off all flattering lips and the tongue that speaketh proud things. That's Esau. All right. Let's go to this word flattery really quick. The Hebrew word is ha la kwa if I'm not mistaken. Ha la kwa or chalachwa. All right. And it says portion, parcel of ground, smooth part, smoothness, flattery. So they speaking smooth things. All right. To lure you. Okay. All right. And they're making this shit sound good. They're trying to turn shit into sugar. All right. And this is how they're going to get many, through flattering lips. All right. Through, miracles. All right. Which is deception. Okay. You can't trust anything that this devil presents, especially now. Okay. This is who have said, with our tongue will we prevail. Our lips are our own, who is Lord over us. And you can't tell me they're not saying this. All you got to do is look up Yuval Noah Harari. All right. And they make the most proud statements in the world. Okay. Look at that. Intimacy. AI's next frontier. On intimacy. How the fuck can AI be intimate? All right. And it could just go to what we're saying, and he's the big GAY. We know why, because they define the most high. All you got to do is look, and they're speaking it right in front of you. All right. And then the celebrities sit down and talk with them. All right. And because these celebrities are fucking fascinated with these fucking weirdos. Is this the man? All right. Why humans run the world. Okay. We have become gods. Man, the list goes on. That ain't shit. Check out that guy, Klaus Schwab. All right. Which we always mention these dudes. All right. So I'm in Psalms 12. So It says, who have said, with our tongue will we prevail. Our lips are our own. Who is Lord over us? They want to become God. And basically with no absolute, they can say anything with absolutely no accountability. All right, but the Lord is not mocked, man. You can't mock the Most High. Psalms 12:5, it says, for the oppression of the poor, for the sighing of the needy, now will I arise. All right, and that standard is going to be lifted, okay, against these devils when they come after us, because ultimately the elect is the number one target. So they're making all of this, they're passing all of these laws and doing all of these secret deals and setting all this shit up so they can take by force their birthright away. All right. Okay. And this is really to counter us. At the end of the day, everybody else don't fucking matter, man. Everybody else don't matter. It's all about you, the hopeful. Now will I rise, said the Lord Yahweh. I will set him in safety from him that puffeth at him. And that's what Esau is doing, puffing at us right now. The words of the Lord are pure words, as silver tried in the furnace, purified 7 times. In other words, it's sure. All right, it's a sure thing. Here, check this out. Isaiah 59:19. It says, so shall they fear the name of the Lord Yahweh from the west. All right. And his glory from the rising of the sun. All right. Because when the Lord returns, all right, he gonna return, all right, in a big ass chariot. All right. It says, when the enemy shall come in like a flood. Because this is what they're planning on doing. All right. And the flood is, crashing waters. All right. And those waters can sweep you away. And that's how they want to come. That's how they are going to come. It says, the spirit of the Lord Yahweh shall lift up a standard against them. We go into this word standard. Literally is basically, it's going to say what the last precept said, is to put us in safety. All right. Because that's what that standard is. And the Hebrew word is nawas. Nawas. You can make a small prayer and say, Yahweh Shemel Shai Nathan Nawas. Right? Or some to the extent of that. So it says to flee, escape, take flight. All right. Depart, disappear, to fly to the attack on horseback. All right. So to fly to the attack, to put to flight, or you can put men to flight, to drive hastily, to cause to disappear, hide. So the Lord's we're going to put us in safety against these motherfuckers. All right. Excuse my language, but yeah. So I'll pretty much cut it there. I went longer than what I thought I would. Lord willing, this was edifying. But yeah, it's a continuation of yesterday, man, because that video got cut. I kind of wanted to touch on this. All right, this group or this foundation or foundry platform. All right, Palantir's foundry platform, So, hey, until next time, we'll give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shemel Shai Bashim Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, a great millstone. Shalom to you, Hakim. Pushing the work in truth and sincerity. Shalom.